Hello and welcome to Small Business Snippets, the new podcast from smallbusiness.co.uk. I'm your host, Anna Jordan. In the first collection of episodes, we'll be looking at small business milestones, those real defining events for entrepreneurs. Think turning a profit, launch day, and even your first major setback. Today, we'll be talking about smashing your customer targets. In the studio, we have Rory Mudie, who founded Redbox Mobile in 2013. With over 20 years in the mobile and advertising biz behind him, he helped get the company from 30 customers to 850 within only 1 year. Hello, Rory.
Anna, hi. Thank you very much for the great introduction there.
Not at all. How are you doing?
I'm very good, actually. I'm, quite excited to be part of the podcast, and it's an exciting milestone for us to be going through.
Great. So tell me about the moment that you found out you'd reached 850.
We launched our platform, and going from 30 clients and trying to manage 30 phone calls and other bits and pieces to then suddenly going, oh my gosh, 850 apps are now live on our platform is it happened very quickly, and it's not slowing down. We're accelerating very fast, but it's a totally different milestone. It's not, we're all much busier. We are busier, but it's in a very different way. So it happened over a period of about, give or take 9 months. But it's growing daily. So whilst we're having our podcast here, we'll probably pick up 2-3 clients without us actually having to do anything, which is a really exciting place to be in.
How did it feel at the time?
In terms of the emotions, well, it's a bit odd actually, because I'm sales through and through, and you go and pitch a client and you win a deal and you have that high five moment and go and talk about it. Yeah. But when you're not actually present and you're grabbing clients, it was actually a little bit scary because I like to hear the clients. I like to hear what the clients are saying. I like to have that real life feedback. So the feeling, oddly, I thought I'd be elated in terms of the growth, but I was actually quite scared because are they all happy? Are they all enjoying the platform? Are they all experiencing what I'm hoping they experience? So the first initial feelings it's actually fear, and rapidly followed up with a bit of elation and excitement. But definitely fear first of all. Yeah, definitely.
Do you feel that's common among entrepreneurs in your position?
When things start to take off, I would be surprised if other entrepreneurs had a similar feeling to how I went through it. But I think it's fair to say that each entrepreneur has their own sort of feeling on how it goes. But yeah.
Yeah, this is very real now.
I could say, I was really scared. But it does help you get to make some important decisions. If I can't be there and speak to all of my clients, which I want to be, but that's not the SaaS model, it makes your brain think differently. How can you communicate to so many people at the same time? So things like blogs and things like webinars and things like instigating a live chat are solutions that you'd never use in a system where you're looking after 30 odd people. But actually it's how you now have to think in terms of how we accelerate. So from the off, it's what we build. Can it be extrapolated out? Can it be expanded? Can it be scaled? Is really the big questions that we posed at the start, which then have translated into taking the best bits from the account managed side and then bring them into the platform. And that transition's worked quite well, I think. We're still very young in the journey, though, so we'll have a podcast in a year's time and I'll rock up in my Bentley.
And talking about GDPR, how has it affected your business so far?
Yeah, so our we have a global footprint. So possibly America is our biggest territory, but there's the platform's live in 13 different countries. Regulatory around Europe. From a sales perspective, me blanketing out through a MailChimp, which didn't really work anyway. Has been impacted. Mm-hmm. But one of the really cool things about running a SaaS platform is when you use the platform, I can send you an email and say, your account is at this. Yeah, so that's non-GDPR compliant the other way around thing. So you it's a service message. And actually, when I stop selling to you and I talk to you about the service, your propensity to buy increases because you're not being sold to. which is it's an odd thing. So GDPR has actually helped the business in the sense that when we do a service message saying 14 new countries have gone live, you don't have to do anything, company A. The platform will optimize your budget across those, I said 14, I should say 13, those 13 countries. Well, I've just sold 12 new countries to you that you didn't have to do anything, and the machine just turned it on and you started to get downloads from new countries. So GDPR didn't really affect us as a business, as a sales channel. But even then, I just think that doesn't work. You blanket out an email to a load of people saying, hey, we're great. And, they go, okay, whatever. I get 1 million of you a day. Pick up the phone and speak to somebody, or drive them to come and find you. So actually, my process is very much a knowledge share. So there's lots of things that we know from the agency side of the business. Things like App Store optimization, what the client can do themselves to help their own business. The roadmap for our webinars is how can I genuinely, free of charge, make you make more money for your app, okay? And that's a knowledge transfer of things that we used to sell because we only had 30 customers that I now give away freely. And it is proper practice that we apply to our big brands now that they do, and it works. So that I think from a market perspective, there is absolutely an expectation that, look, I don't just choose you because your platform's great. I choose you because you're of value to my business. And if it's just this one part, that's not enough to warrant my time for your business. You need to give me a lot more. And I think that's fair. I think, they've got tough jobs to do out there. And how can I know all this information? How can I help their business? How can I make their app better? And we do that using blogs and, giving away gold knowledge, which is the main piece.
How do you measure the value of said knowledge?
I mean, but the simplest bit would be client retention. If we don't lose clients and they stick with us and they like what we're doing, then the value is what is coming into the business. There might be two parts to that particular question. If I'm referring to my clients, then I'd refer to that and say, look, if I'm giving you value, you'll stay with me. In its simplest terms. I think possibly the second side, which you may have been referring to, is there's a lot of stuff up in the brain that's gone through in the last 5.5 years of the journey that we're in. We're at this milestone point now, literally in the last year. The knowledge of that is incredibly valuable, because what I've learned in the last 5.5 years, the value of that is just colossal, and I'm happy to share that with anybody. Name of the company, where it's registered, how the share structure is set up, how you instigate your first round of employees, how you hook in all of the value of those people, and that value. So I think there's a monster value there. What's slightly annoying though is it's relatively useless because I'm still going into an area which I haven't been before. So you're continually learning, but hopefully the knowledge is there that I can help people in whatever shape or form.
So going back to when you had 30 clients, what do you wish you had known then that you know now? That
clients, if you're onto something really, really good, and this is a massive learning actually, if what you've got is really, really, really good and really important, and you're selling and you're doing well, and people are buying it easily, the question I wish I'd asked myself is why? Why is it just? Is it me because I'm a great sales guy, or my sales, or I've got a pretty logo? Because had I asked myself that question, is they needed it so desperately, and this is the SEO for the App Store optimization. Get your app ranking to the top of the App Store. Had I asked that question properly, I would have accelerated my platform and been building my platform a lot earlier in the journey. Because it's so, I don't know, I said because twice, but because it's 3 times, it's so important what we offered them that they all had to either take it in-house or build up a brand new team to run this functionality in their business, because it was critical to their business that they ranked inside the App Store. So we'd sign these clients up and then we'd lose them because we taught them everything that they needed to know, and then they took it in-house, in which case, we then have a client churn. Whereas you can't churn from you can churn from the platform, but it's, you need a team of 3,000 people trying to do what the platform does. So they won't change from that. But had I known just how important this product was to those brands, I would have contracted them up for a longer period of time, because we didn't do that. And that would have been, I guess, the fundamental learning.
Would you say there's a confidence issue there, possibly, or?
No, I don't think so. We knew I was the first App Store optimization agency in the UK, and I knew it at the time, and it was really exciting, and we accelerated nice and big, and but there were lots of big costs involved, and you couldn't scale it. As in, I needed more people to look after more companies, which is then why we transitioned to the platform, albeit in a slightly tweak on that market space. But yeah, I think so far we're on. I mean, I still feel startup. You know, we did have a nice big agency. We're like cruising back, and everything's great. But right now, I am back to where I was mentally in startup phase, as I know a number of the entrepreneurs will be at, where it's scary. You're watching the dollars, you're spending, you're marketing, you're watching your user retention. These are all the metrics that you need. We all need to live and breathe by. But all that learning, 5.5 years, I'm back in startup mode. Mentally, I feel like I'm back in startup mode.
Coming back to those entrepreneurs, what advice would you give them about growing their client base?
Okay, so I think, I mean, there's all the obvious things, and I think entrepreneurs nowadays are just, you know, there's little luck. You know, there's very little. I mean, you do need luck, and you will have luck. But growing the client base, the care for your customer is just so king. But don't be scared of automating parts of that relationship with the client, right? Because you can't scale if you have to add a human every time you add. That sounded dreadful, but it is the world. Every time you grab a client, you grab a human, and the cost of that human is the same cost as what you're billing on the client. It means you haven't got a scaling business. So understand that point and make the scary decision to pivot and to change. We haven't properly done that because we're still servicing our big clients, which is why there's two sides to the business. We've got the agency side, and then there's the platform. So we haven't pivoted just to the platform, mainly because the learnings you get from the big brands are beautiful. They're fantastic. So we feed that into the platform, and then we can scale it. Money and cash flow is always tough. When you have money being offered to you, if it's commercially right for the business, take it, because it always brings you bigger options. As you take that money, though, have the mindset of when you very first started. Never change that mindset that you don't have any money. And when you spend a penny, if you cannot categorically say back to your business and to your brain that pound spent is going to give you £1, 1p back, you stop the spend, irrespective of what commitments you've put yourself into. Get yourself out of it as fast as you can. But make sure you monitor those things, because we did a raise and I didn't monitor it properly. And I mean, these are the learnings. We did a raise. I spent lots of money. We iterated. We made lots of mistakes, but I didn't follow my core of what when I first started out, which is follow every single penny I just spent. So that was a great learning exercise. Albeit I still, we were profitable that year, so I didn't lose any of my shareholders' money. We've just concluded a second raise now, so manage the cash flow. And when you're raising, you're either raising to keep your business alive. Well, think about it. What are you keeping alive? Do you need to change your business? Do you need to change your business model? Or are you raising to accelerate? We've just done our raise to accelerate because I don't want 800 clients. I want 800,000 clients. And I'm not going to do that from a small team in Hungerford and doing that. So my business needs to accelerate because someone else is going to get there. I know that because it's like we were when we're doing ASO. Mm-hmm. It's accelerating, and that market overtook me. They all took it in-house, and I lost that one. This one I don't want to lose, which is why we've raised and why we're accelerating.
Well, that's it for me. Thanks ever so much for coming in.
Okay, well, I just want to wish all the listeners. It is a really tough journey that you're all on. The ups and the downs are there to be seen and heard. But when you're on it, and you feel great. And believe in yourself because you can deliver against it. And thank you for listening.
You can find out more about Redbox over at redboxmobile.com and visit smallbusiness.co.uk for more on how to attract and retain clients. While you're there, remember to follow us on Facebook at smallbusiness.co.uk and Twitter at smallbusinessuk, all lowercase. Join us next time when I'll be chatting to a business owner about when they reached a £1 million annual rate of return. Until then, thank you for listening.